Qantas is urgently paging passenger Mr. Jeffrey Sampson. Your flight is in the final stages of boarding and is ready for departure.
Hello, welcome back to another trip report with Tom Mackay. Today I am flying from New York and I'm flying out of LaGuardia Airport from New York down to New Orleans via Charlotte. American Airlines has a pretty decent presence here at LaGuardia, but I think they are focused more at JFK in terms of their New York presence. However, there was still some really cool aircraft sightings for me to observe while I waited for my flight to depart, and unfortunately it was a late departure, but more on that later. 30-minute delay due to late departure of the inbound aircraft here at LaGuardia, New York Airport. Just about to get ready to board, and it's a full flight, just like every single flight it seems in North America, but looking forward to it. I'm flying in first class, which doesn't really have the same appeal as what I used to expect with first class, but first class nonetheless, from LaGuardia here to Charlotte and then on to New Orleans on the Airbus A319. Being a first class passenger, I was positioned in Group 1 for boarding, which meant I had pretty early access to the aircraft, down the jet bridge and into my seat, which was 1F. Hello, thanks. As you can see briefly, the first class cabin is laid out in a 2-2 configuration across 2 rows, a nice and small and compact cabin. The seat is a large recliner style, as you'd come to expect on an US-based carrier in first class or a Australian domestic business class seat. And as you can see, the legroom is not too bad overall, but the footroom is obviously blocked by the bulkhead, and that should be a consideration, particularly if you have long legs or long feet. To the side in the center console, there is a universal charging point conveniently located in a little storage inlet on the side of the seat, and the armrest does swivel open to allow easier access to your device while it's charging or to your stored items. There is an area to store beverages while you wait and enjoy the service, and the tray table pops open from the other side of the seat and is released by the lever, but I'll demonstrate that later. Of course, there is some reading materials available in front of you, and a beverage is offered before takeoff, and I opted for a Coca-Cola. Given LaGuardia's confined space on a position of the New York area surrounded by water, the taxi from the gate to the active runway for departure is quite short, and as you can see out the right-hand window, you can see the massive construction and renovation works that are underway at LaGuardia, transforming it in a way to join all of the different concourses currently operated by different airlines, to allow seamless access from airline to airline, which will obviously improve the flow of passengers and cargo and allow a more seamless experience at the airport, hopefully, and definitely on the land side as well, as the traffic and transport options at LaGuardia are quite limited and quite poor in comparison to some other airports around the world. It was a beautiful takeoff over Manhattan on this lovely spring morning out of New York. So let's explore the seat a little bit more. The tray table, as I mentioned earlier, pops out and slides quite nicely with this mechanism and is available in the folded over or unfolded position to give you more space. It does have adequate stability. In first class, just like in economy class on this flight, the in-flight entertainment is provided to your own device via a Wi-Fi network, which means that you are limited by your screen size. Here on my iPhone, the content loads very quickly, and of course, because of the screen quality of the iPhone itself, is presented quite nicely.
Ladies and gentlemen, flight attendants have been advised by the captain it's going to be quite turbulent for a short period of time. So we're going to ask that you observe the fasten seatbelt sign, make sure your seatbelts are securely fastened and remain seated.
Despite this warning, the flight was actually really comfortable and I didn't really notice any turbulence above the normal expectations. A little later on, I opted for a coffee with milk, and the flight attendant was so kind as to give me the whole bottle, but apparently it was the only bottle that was loaded on this flight, and I did consume the whole thing by the end of the flight, so lucky me. The meal service for American Airlines first class flights on shorter domestic routes unfortunately is only limited to snacks, which I found quite disappointing, to be honest, and this lacks in comparison to Australian domestic airlines and many airlines throughout Europe and Asia as well. So quite disappointing. But nonetheless, it still filled the little spot, and the peanut butter chocolate bites in particular were quite tasty, so that kind of made up for it. Before long though, we were descending into Charlotte for the reasonably quick connection from the Airbus A319 to another Airbus A319. First off the plane, and this terminal is currently being renovated by the looks of it. Got plenty of time and just a short walk to my connecting flight to New Orleans. Again, first class, but actually again I'll be in seat 1F as well, so let's go. Charlotte is the second largest American Airlines hub, and it's very busy here. So I'm currently eating Burger King because American Airlines first class does not serve meals on flights under 3 hours, so that's good. Bottoms up into a Junior Whopper. The amount of aircraft activity here in Charlotte is just phenomenal, and I know that it's obviously representative of the larger population in the United States compared to Australia, but it's just so cool to see plane after plane after plane taxi, take off and land. Really, really cool, and obviously I was obsessed looking out the window for most of my connection time. Unfortunately, I was plagued with delays for the entire day, it seemed, and the second flight of my trip was also delayed to 6:03 p.m. Fortunately, my seat was confirmed, but the waiting area was, as you can see, quite dilapidated, in the process of being renovated, but not a particularly nice or pleasant place to enjoy before your departing flight. So on the second A319 flight in American Airlines first class, there's not a lot to add. This time, however, I did enjoy a beer instead of a coffee or soft drink, which was quite nice. and there was some slight differences in the cabin. I have to say the legroom on this particular aircraft was slightly greater, although I'm not demonstrating it unfortunately in the video. And I also decided to use the lavatory, which as you can see is pretty standard for an A319. Quite cramped, quite small, but does the job. So as we arrive into New Orleans, you can actually see out in my footage the brand new International Airport terminal about to open. Unfortunately, I did miss it and wasn't able to experience this new facility in New Orleans, but maybe next time. But summing up my flight and some overall comments. Being my first time in the United States and being quite excited to try the American Airlines first class experience, I was, I have to say, bitterly disappointed. But that's okay. I've come to readjust my expectations for American carriers, and whilst this was a points redemption flight, it was the only way and the most valuable and affordable way for me to fly from New Orleans to New York and back. And regardless of the experience, it was nice to try. As you've seen, the seat itself is definitely not bad. It's quite comfortable. It does have some nice recline. However, there's no inbuilt in-flight entertainment. And as demonstrated on both of these short flights, there is no meal service, only a snack service for the shorter flights on the American Airlines domestic network. That being said, in-flight entertainment is provided over Wi-Fi to your device, and there is Wi-Fi on board available to be purchased for a fee. I suppose American Airlines can justify this by being the largest airline in the United States and having a very vast and well-connected network throughout the continental United States as well as internationally and abroad. But I have to say, the first class experience does definitely not live up to the first class name, and I will probably just fly economy for my future flights in the United States of America. But anyway, enough about that. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and hope to see you again soon. See you later.